All right, welcome to In-Season Nevada. Today we're talking about the Youth Trapper Expo. This was the 2025 one. If you're interested in joining us in 2026, it'll be hosted on Illapel Reservoir near Ely, Nevada in the second weekend of July. This is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Here you can see some of our amazing volunteers who've stepped up to the plate. We had over 100 mouths to feed between volunteers and guests. So always got to thank those people who are willing to step up and cook for everyone, because feeding 100 people in the middle of nowhere is a logistical feat. And so big shout out to those folks. Here we've got Neil Cheney and Ron Stoker helping people understand the order of events for the day, organizing this amount of people and only hosting this event twice. Big shout out to those guys for organizing this event. Here you got Neil and Jason. They are setting up the Tough Hunter Challenge. And so if you want to measure up and see how you do, go ahead and join us next year. Here I'm teaching the Jackrabbit Husbandry class. This class goes over how to butcher a jackrabbit, but what's cool is jackrabbits have a lot of the same anatomy as big game animals. So we've got a lot of kids who've drawn tags and their parents may or may not know how to butcher a ungulate or an ungulate, and so this is a really cool class for them. You can check out my YouTube channel and I have the full video online now. Here we've got Ron and John here going over some duck hunting specific safety. It's really important that you follow all the firearm safety rules in the duck blind. But as you can imagine, the duck blind has limited room in order to maneuver. And so if you do not plan ahead, you may be in a situation where you can't move your gun safely. And so these guys are telling kids a couple of tips and tricks to be able to think ahead and make sure that your gun always stays in a safe direction when you're in the duck blind. Another couple of cool things that happened in the Youth Trapper Expo that I didn't get a chance to film was we had an herbalism class going over the wild plants that have different medicinal and edible benefits. We also went over a wet trapping and dry trapping station and a hound hunting station where they actually put out a pelt with some scent, and the youth were able to see the hounds work and find the pelt. And so no mountain lions were harmed in the making of any of these stations, but it was really cool to see some people with some different skill sets all come together and all help some youth and educate them in the outdoors. All right, let's get back to the duck hunting station for now, since that's what we actually have video of here. So Ron's going over the difference between a semi-auto shotgun and a break action shotgun and a pump action shotgun. So obviously break action shotgun, when you're in the duck blind, if you're holding it sideways, it's going to be a lot more difficult to point down range, and that's what he's trying to explain right here, is that you can keep the gun propped on your belly, and that's a lot easier to maintain, versus if you have it at your waistline, then it's easier to point it at somebody else. So it's good on him to make sure that we don't just talk about semi-autos, that we talk about all the different kinds of firearms that they may interact with in the field. That way we got all our bases covered. And then we got another gentleman over here showing the youth that you can use the balance of a break open shotgun and just simply rest it on the front of the blind if your arms get sore, or from holding up the gun in front of you all day, and your gun will still be pointed in a safe direction. So that's great. Next, we're going to see some youth going through a dry run here. We've got some blanks in the gun, and so it only has a primer attached to an empty shell. And so there's no recoil, there's no gunpowder, there's not really a lot of gas that comes out the barrel. And so it's a great opportunity for these kids to interact with the guns, pull the trigger, hear a little bit of bang, get some feedback without having to deal with the recoil or any of the loud noises that are associated with firearms. So it's just a great dry run for these kids, and congrats on them for getting it right on the first try and not pointing a gun at anyone else. So good on these kids. And just as a reminder, youth of all ages are welcome at the Youth Trapper Expo. We look forward to seeing you guys next year and every year that we host this. Hope you enjoyed watching this video and have a great time next time.